What a tragedy. Chris Plant is a syndicated radio talk show host. Leslie Marshall is a Fox News contributor and a syndicated radio talk show host as well. Welcome to you both. Chris, let me start with you on this. I mean, obviously there's an effort to try to rein in, to try to cut off funding to these more than 100 sanctuary cities that exist in this country where illegals who've committed crimes are allowed to basically run rampant.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a perfectly reasonable response under the circumstances, and it's also a story that's terribly undercovered. You know, between drunk driving fatalities and homicides and other crimes, this is really a very serious issue. And if you live in a sanctuary city where the, I think exclusively Democrat political leadership is sending a message out to people in the country illegally, we don't care how many times you've been deported. We don't care if you're a heroin addict. We don't care how many times you've been arrested. We're going to provide a safe haven for you here. That is a city that is more dangerous for the citizens. And it's about time that the federal government started behaving responsibly and cutting off federal funds to cities that are violating the law and inviting lawbreakers is perfectly appropriate and overdue.
Yeah, you know, I think of that sheriff and the interview that Ainsley Earnhardt did with the family, and when she asked the brother of Kate Steinle, who's to blame when you look down the line of everybody who could have had an impact on this case, and he said, well, I would start with the sheriff who let him exist in that city and didn't deport him and didn't turn him over to ICE when he should have. Leslie, what possible excuse is there for any of this?
Well, you know, I have said all along, actually, even Hillary Clinton said that the sheriff in this situation was to blame. He did not notify federal authorities of the release of this individual. He did not comply with the request by the federal authorities. But we also have to look at the reality. And the reality is here in California, where I live, the majority of counties have adopted sanctuary cities. Crime in California is at its lowest level since 1971. It certainly is not committed by a majority of illegal immigrants, but rather American citizens. So some people say, look, this, even if it wasn't a sanctuary city, this would not have
Leslie,
prevented this, and this will not prevent it in the future.
I got to tell you, I really don't get that argument. You know, I understand that illegals commit crime at a lower rate than people who are here legally. But those people are here legally. And we understand as American citizens that you've got people in the mix who are breaking the law. But what is impossible to get your brain around, and especially if you are one of these families, I mean, put yourself in these people's position. You find out that a horrific crime happened to your daughter, happened to your son, as it did to the woman that we interviewed this morning on America's Newsroom, and then you find out this person wasn't even supposed to be in this country. I mean, it is enough to just make you absolutely insane with fury over this situation. So this is something that needs to be fixed, does it not, Leslie?
Oh, I agree it needs to be fixed, but I think one of the areas that both left and right can agree on is it needs to be fixed at the border. If you stop somebody from coming into this country, I mean, the reality is people say, well, why wasn't he deported? How come he was able to enter this country illegally so many times?
Good question.
And whether that, now how we do that with a fence, how we do that with more agents, with better training, with drones, aerial drones. I agree with actually Rudy Giuliani, and he says what he is doing and working with the Colombian government on, which is what we could do here at our border, would be effective. And I think that's what we should try, sanctuary cities aside from that.
No, we have to stop trying. We have to start doing. And that is the first order of business in this story. It is unbelievable what's going on.